This is for the benefit of one of your students, because I sit for your sessions. And when you were ending your session, this particular individual asked you something which I felt was a very heartfelt question. And I'm so sure that every other person faces the same difficulty. They already have their story in mind, and that is why they've started writing. You're helping them develop their story. What this individual did ask you was that he can't put it on paper what he wants to. When he starts to write, it just isn't coming for him out on paper. But when he's sitting and thinking, it is coming for him. That question kind of lingered in my mind.
If it were not about writing a novel or a screenplay, but it were about getting back with your girlfriend who's super pissed, and the only way is writing an heartfelt apology to her, would you keep it in your head, or would you actually push yourself to write it? See, what I do in my classes is different than how most people would approach educating it. Because, see, my sessions, even if the institute tells me to keep it short, often goes beyond stipulated time. Why? Because my agenda is not to give them certain formulas and, just do this and it will work for you. My agenda and my approach is to uncondition their existing framework, mental framework. A writer cannot think like a common man, I feel personally. He has to be an anomaly to the society. He has to be a non-conformist. Why? Because unless you have something new to give to the masses, to the audience, why should even you bother writing? The job of a writer is to give a new perspective. And unless you have that, how can you share that? If you think like a normal 9 to 5 office goer, you will not be able to cross that one barrier that stops you from being a writer. A writer can have his vulnerabilities, can be fragile, but as an human being, as a writer, he should be super cocky like Iron Man. That is the only thing that you know well about yourself. Unless you have that confidence in you, why should you bother exploring that path? Writing is like a dark forest. Unless you are comfortable camping in the night by yourself with all your insecurities and vulnerabilities and the pressure of other people's opinion weighing on your soul, you shouldn't get into it. If you do that just for the glamour of it, that's what happens. I mean, 80 people start, 2 people end up being writer. The rest of them take a U-turn halfway through and then go back to their other priorities or other occupations. Why is that happening? Because they are not realizing the simple fact that while the glamour is there, it is for the people who went through all this hell. You can't reach an oasis unless you cross a desert.
Yeah, nothing is easy in life, but in our last session, you said that everybody is a writer.
They are, of course they are. But I have also said the only person stopping them is themselves.
Yeah.
Everybody is capable of telling a story, a beautiful story. Let's say that I give you a bicycle as a gift, and you say that you can't do it. Unless you get on the cycle and start paddling, you would never know whether you can do it or not, right? But as long as you're standing away and saying you can't do it, it is for sure you can't do it. So, what is stopping people from realizing their potential is their own conditioning, which is why StoryTattva believes in unconditioning writers rather than coaching them to
Be right.
be writers. It is unconditioning. You remove these extra layers of social conditioning, and you will reveal your true writer. That is the approach we take. Of course, be cordial, be social, be compassionate towards others, but don't let anyone romp all over you. It doesn't make sense. I feel, and I say that to the students also, when you take up the job as a writer, you are an entrepreneur. Okay, you're going to do the marketing, you're going to do the sales, you're going to do the labor of actually writing, you're going to do the finance of accounting, checking, following up, and everything. You are being an entrepreneur. So take your decisions wisely and decide what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Even if you're doing a simple job, have a deal that favors you. If you have done a fair deal, the client will come back to you. I also feel that, creative domain is a domain where you have to rely more on your instinct. An artist is a person who is both compassionate enough to connect and with every individual on the planet, look at life's larger picture, care for the universe, at the same time selfish enough to bring it all down to his work, his story, present it as a form of his expression for his personal channelizing of creativity. So he is both connected as well as distant.